Have you ever been scrolling through your social media feed and something just felt off? Like you couldn't put your finger on it, but the comments seemed weird. The posts felt repetitive. The whole vibe of the internet felt less human somehow. You might have brushed it off as just spending too much time online. But what if I told you there's a theory out there that says the internet you're experiencing right now isn't what it used to be? What if I told you that a lot of what you see online isn't even made by real people anymore? This is called the dead internet theory. And whether you believe it or not, the facts and statistics behind it are genuinely unsettling. Today, we're going to break down everything about this theory, where it came from, what it actually claims, the evidence that supports it, and the parts that are probably exaggerated. We're going to talk about bots, AI-generated content, fake accounts, algorithms, click farms, engagement farming, and the fundamental question of whether the internet we knew and loved is actually dead. Grab a drink, get comfortable, because this is going to be a long one. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and I want to make sure we do this topic justice. Let's start at the very beginning. The dead internet theory first started gaining serious attention around 2021 when a user named Illuminati posted a thread on a small internet forum called Agora Road S Macintosh Cafe. The post was titled, "Dead Internet Theory, Most of the Internet is Fake." In this post, the user talked about how the internet felt different. It felt empty somehow. The user wrote that the internet feels empty and devoid of people. Yes, the internet may seem gigantic, but it's like a hot air balloon with nothing inside. That description really stuck with people because it captured a feeling that many had been experiencing but couldn't quite articulate. The basic idea of the theory is this. Sometime around 2016 or 2017, the internet as we knew it died. What does that mean exactly? It means that real human activity on the internet has been largely replaced by bots, artificial intelligence, and automatically generated content. The theory claims that most of what you see online today isn't made by real people. It's made by machines. And this isn't happening by accident. According to the theory, this is being done on purpose by governments and corporations to control what people see and think. The original post claimed that the US government is engaging in an artificial intelligence-powered gaslighting of the entire world population. That's a pretty bold claim. Now, before you dismiss this as just another crazy conspiracy theory, let me tell you that there are actually two versions of this theory. Researchers have described them as the weak version and the strong version. The weak version says that there's definitely a lot of bot activity and AI content online, and powerful groups are using this to shape public opinion. This version is pretty much accepted as fact at this point. The evidence for it is overwhelming. The strong version is the more extreme one. It says that society itself has basically collapsed and almost everything online is fake and controlled by shadowy forces. That version is harder to prove and probably an exaggeration of what's actually happening. The theory gained way more attention when The Atlantic published an article in September 2021 called, "Maybe You Missed It, but the Internet Died 5 years ago." This article took the theory seriously and explored whether there was any truth to it. The writer acknowledged that while the literal conspiracy theory was probably far-fetched, the underlying observations about the internet feeling less human were valid. After that, the dead internet theory started showing up everywhere. YouTube videos, podcasts, news articles, academic papers. It stopped being a niche conspiracy theory discussed on obscure forums and became a mainstream topic of discussion that respectable researchers were writing about. So let's talk about the actual evidence. Because this is where things get really interesting and frankly kind of scary. The most concrete piece of evidence for the dead internet theory is the sheer amount of bot traffic on the internet. And when I give you these numbers, I want you to really let them sink in. Take a moment to think about what they mean. According to the 2025 Imperva BadBot report, automated bot traffic has now officially surpassed human traffic on the internet. For the first time in over a decade, more than half of all internet traffic comes from bots, not humans. The exact number is 51%. Let me say that again. 51% of all web traffic in 2024 was generated by bots. That means when you visit a website, there's actually a higher chance that the other visitors are programs rather than people. Of that bot traffic, 37% comes from what they call bad bots. These are bots designed to do harmful things like steal data, commit fraud, manipulate engagement metrics, and spread spam. This is a huge increase from just a few years ago when bad bots made up only 32% of traffic. That's a 5% increase in just 1 year. The report also says this is the 6th year in a row that bad bot activity has increased. It's not going down. It's not staying steady. It's getting worse every single year. The trend line is going in the wrong direction, and there's no sign of it reversing. Now you might be thinking, okay, but surely most bots are just harmless programs doing useful things like indexing websites for search engines. And you'd be partly right. There are good bots out there, search engine crawlers that help Google and Bing find content, website monitoring tools that check if sites are working properly, customer service chatbots that answer basic questions, security tools that scan for vulnerabilities. These serve legitimate purposes and make the internet work better. But here's the problem. The bad bots vastly outnumber the good ones now, and these bad bots are getting smarter every day. Thanks to AI and large language models like ChatGPT, it's now easier than ever for anyone to create sophisticated bots that can mimic human behavior almost perfectly. The barrier to entry has dropped dramatically. A few years ago, you needed serious technical skills to create a convincing bot. Now, anyone with basic knowledge can spin up thousands of bots that can hold conversations, write content, and interact with other users in ways that are very hard to distinguish from real humans. The democratization of AI has made bot creation accessible to everyone, including people with malicious intentions. The industries being hit hardest by bot traffic are travel and retail. In the travel industry, 41% of all web traffic comes from bots. These bots do things like scrape prices from airline and hotel websites, pretend to book seats and then abandon the purchase at the last minute, which messes with pricing algorithms, and commit various types of fraud. In retail, that number jumps to an insane 59%. Think about that for a second. When you go to a retail website, there's a good chance that more than half of the other visitors aren't even real people. They're programs designed to scrape prices, manipulate inventory, commit payment fraud, or do other sketchy things. The entire e-commerce ecosystem is riddled with fake activity. The geographic distribution of bad bot traffic is also interesting. The United States is the primary target for bot attacks, accounting for more than half of all incidents globally. But the bots themselves often originate from other countries. There's a whole industry of bot farms in places like China, Russia, Vietnam, Brazil, India, and the Philippines. These operations run around the clock, employing both automated systems and low-paid human workers to generate fake activity on the internet. It's become a significant part of the underground economy in some regions. But bot traffic is just one piece of the puzzle. The other massive piece is AI-generated content. This is content that's written, designed, or created by artificial intelligence rather than by humans. And the growth of AI content since ChatGPT launched in November 2022 has been absolutely explosive. It's changed the entire landscape of content creation in ways that were hard to predict just a few years ago. We're living through a fundamental shift in how information is created and distributed online. A recent study by the SEO firm Graphite analyzed 65,000 English language articles published between January 2020 and May 2025. They used an AI detection tool to identify which articles were written primarily by AI. The results were striking. They found that before ChatGPT launched, only about 5% of articles online were AI generated. That makes sense because AI writing tools weren't very good back then. But by November 2024, that number had skyrocketed to over 50%. More than half of all new articles being published online are now written primarily by AI. We crossed that threshold in late 2024, and we're not going back. Another study by eRefs looked at 900,000 newly created web pages in April 2025 and found that 74% of them contained AI-generated content. That's nearly 3/4 of all new web pages. When you search for something online, most of what you're going to find is now at least partially written by AI. This has enormous implications for the quality and reliability of information on the internet. We're drowning in a sea of machine-generated text. Some experts have estimated that by 2026, up to 90% of all online content could be AI-generated or at least AI-assisted. The law enforcement agency Europol put out a warning about this, saying that the rise of synthetic media is going to create massive disinformation problems. They're concerned about the implications for democracy, for journalism, for public trust in institutions. When you can't tell what's written by a human and what's written by a machine, how do you know what to believe? Now, here's the thing. Not all AI content is bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with using AI as a tool to help create content. Many legitimate businesses and creators use AI to improve their workflow. I'm sure many of the websites you visit regularly use AI in some way, whether for translation, summarization, or assistance with writing. The problem is when AI is used to create low-quality spam content at massive scale. when it's used to manipulate people, when it's used to generate misinformation, and when it starts to drown out genuine human voices online. That's when we have a serious problem. There's also a concerning phenomenon called model collapse, or the snake eating its tail problem. AI models are trained on data from the internet, but now the internet is being flooded with AI-generated content. So future AI models are increasingly being trained on content created by previous AI models. Each generation might get slightly worse or develop weird quirks because the training data is less authentic. Some researchers worry this could lead to a degradation of content quality over time as AI keeps learning from AI in an endless loop. Let's talk about social media specifically, because this is where the dead internet theory hits closest to home for most people. Social media is supposed to be about connecting with other humans. That's the whole point. That's what made it revolutionary when it first emerged. You could talk to people all over the world, share your life, learn about others. But how many of those other users are actually real? The answer might surprise and disturb you. Facebook has admitted that about 5% of its monthly active users are fake accounts. That might not sound like much on the surface. 5% seems manageable, until you remember that Facebook has around 3 billion users. 5% of 3 billion is about 150 million fake accounts. That's more than the entire population of Russia. And that's their own conservative estimate based on what they can detect. The actual number is probably higher because sophisticated fake accounts are hard to identify. In late 2022, Facebook removed 1.3 billion fake accounts in a single quarter. Let me repeat that. Over 1 billion fake accounts in just 3 months. The year before that, they were removing 1.6 to 1.7 billion fake accounts per quarter. In 2019, they removed a record 2.2 billion fake accounts. These numbers are absolutely staggering when you think about them. And despite all these removals, fake accounts keep coming back. It's like playing whack-a-mole with an opponent that has infinite moles. For every fake account they remove, more are created. Instagram, which is also owned by Meta, reportedly has around 95 million fake accounts. That's roughly 1 in 10 Instagram accounts being completely fake. Think about that the next time you're scrolling through your feed or checking who liked your post. There's a decent chance that some of those profiles don't represent real people at all. They might be bots. They might be managed by click farms. They might be fake accounts created for various schemes. The internet went from being a place where you actively explored and discovered things to a place where an algorithm decided what to show you. Instead of unique personal websites made with love, we got standardized profiles that all look the same on platforms designed to extract value from your attention. Instead of communities that grew organically around shared interests with their own cultures and norms, we got recommendation algorithms pushing content at us that we never asked for. The internet became more convenient, but also more homogenized, more efficient, but less human, more addictive, but less satisfying. So what does the dead internet theory actually claim happened? The theory says that around 2016 or 2017, something fundamental changed about the internet. The ratio of real human content to bot and AI-generated content shifted dramatically. The argument is that the internet we experience now is mostly an illusion. The posts you see, the comments, the likes, the shares, the trending topics, most of them aren't from real people anymore, according to this theory. They're from bots, AI systems, and automated programs designed to manipulate your perception of reality. What looks like organic human activity is actually manufactured. The more extreme version of the theory claims this is all being done deliberately by the US government or other powerful actors like major corporations or shadowy elites. The idea is that these forces are using AI-powered gaslighting to control the population. By filling the internet with fake content and fake interactions, they can shape what people believe about the world. They can make certain ideas seem popular when they're not. They can make other ideas seem fringe or crazy when they're actually mainstream. They can create the illusion of consensus where none exists. They can essentially manufacture reality itself. The theory points to things like the fact that a lot of viral content seems to come out of nowhere with no clear origin. One day, everyone is talking about the same thing, and you can't figure out where it started, or how certain topics trend simultaneously across multiple platforms as if orchestrated, or how political discourse online often feels artificial with both sides saying the exact same talking points in the exact same language, or how the comments on many posts are weirdly generic and repetitive. Believers in the theory see these patterns as evidence of coordinated manipulation at a massive scale. Now let's be honest about what evidence actually supports this theory and what evidence doesn't. On the supporting side, the statistics about bot traffic are absolutely real and documented by reputable research organizations. Over half of web traffic really does come from bots. That's a fact. The statistics about AI-generated content are real. Over half of new articles really are now written primarily by AI. That's documented by multiple studies. The statistics about fake social media accounts are real. Hundreds of millions of fake accounts exist on major platforms, and billions have been removed over the years. These are not conspiracy theories. These are documented facts from the companies themselves and from independent researchers. We also know for a fact that governments and other actors use bots and coordinated campaigns to manipulate public opinion. During the 2016 Brexit referendum in the UK, automated accounts were responsible for a huge amount of political social media activity. Russian disinformation campaigns have been documented by multiple intelligence agencies using bots and fake accounts to spread propaganda and sow division. State actors from China, Iran, and other countries have been caught running coordinated influence operations on social media. This isn't paranoia. It's confirmed reality backed by evidence from governments, researchers, and the platforms themselves. We know that click farms and bot farms exist and operate at industrial scale. We know that engagement, farming, and manipulation of algorithms happens constantly. We know that AI-generated content is flooding the web at rates that are hard to comprehend. We know that major platforms struggle to remove fake accounts, despite dedicating enormous resources and sophisticated AI systems to the problem. We know that the line between authentic human content and machine-generated content is getting blurrier by the day. All of this is real and documented by credible sources. But there's also good reason to be skeptical of the more extreme claims of the dead internet theory. First of all, billions of real humans do use the internet every day. They post selfies, they share news about their lives, they argue about politics, they review restaurants, they write comments on YouTube videos. Social media platforms have billions of real users creating real content. Yes, there are bots and fake accounts mixed in, but they're not the overwhelming majority of actual user activity. The 51% bot traffic figure includes all kinds of automated processes, many of which are harmless or even beneficial. Search engine crawlers, website monitors, security scanners, backup systems. Not all bots are nefarious. Second, the idea that a single group like the US government is controlling all of this is probably too simplistic. The manipulation that happens online is more likely the result of many different actors with many different agendas, often working at cross purposes. Governments trying to influence domestic and foreign politics. Corporations trying to sell products and manipulate markets. Scammers trying to make money through fraud. Attention seekers trying to go viral and gain followers. Political activists trying to promote their causes. Nation-states trying to destabilize rivals. It's chaotic and decentralized, not a single coordinated conspiracy directed from one place. Third, despite all the concerns about filter bubbles and echo chambers, research shows that most people have relatively diverse media diets. Studies from Oxford and other institutions have found that most people don't exclusively consume content from one political perspective. Most people still encounter opposing viewpoints, even if the algorithm doesn't prioritize them. The extreme polarization we see online might be driven more by a small minority of highly engaged users who actively seek out one-sided content rather than by algorithms forcing everyone into bubbles. The majority of people use the internet in more casual and varied ways. Fourth, humans aren't as easily fooled or manipulated as the theory suggests. Studies show that AI-generated misinformation has limited impact on actually changing people's minds. A meta-report from their integrity teams found that AI-generated misinformation in 2024 had modest and limited effects on user beliefs and behavior. Yes, it erodes trust in institutions over time. Yes, it creates confusion and makes people uncertain about what's real. But it's not as effective at direct mind control as some versions of the theory imply. People are more resilient and skeptical than they're sometimes given credit for. Regardless of whether the extreme version of the theory is true, the trends it describes have very real consequences for society. When you can't tell what's real and what's fake online, trust in everything decreases. Trust in media outlets, trust in government institutions, trust in corporations, trust in experts, trust in each other. When we lose trust in the basic information infrastructure of our society, we stop being able to solve problems together. We retreat into our own little tribes where we only trust the people who already agree with us. We become cynical and apathetic. If you assume everything you see is fake, you stop caring about anything. You stop getting outraged by injustice because you assume the video of the injustice is probably AI-generated or staged. You stop donating to causes because you assume the charity is a scam. You stop engaging in political debate because you assume the person arguing with you is a bot. This state of exhausted apathy is exactly what authoritarian regimes and manipulative corporations want. They don't need you to believe their lies. They just need you to stop believing in the truth. They need you to give up on the idea that truth is even knowable. One of the most dangerous side effects of this environment is something researchers call the liar's dividend. As AI deepfakes become more realistic, it becomes easier for bad actors to dismiss real evidence as fake. If a politician is caught on video doing something illegal, they can simply claim it was an AI-generated deepfake. If a CEO is recorded saying something offensive, they can say their voice was cloned. Even if the evidence is 100% real, the mere existence of high-quality fakes gives them plausible deniability. It creates a get-out-of-jail-free card for anyone in power who gets caught doing something they shouldn't. We are already seeing this happen. In legal cases, lawyers are starting to challenge video and audio evidence by claiming it could be AI-generated. Courts are having to develop new standards for verifying digital evidence. The burden of proof is shifting in a way that makes it harder to hold powerful people accountable. Beyond the political and social implications, there's a massive economic bubble waiting to burst. The internet, as we know it, is built on advertising. Google, Facebook, TikTok, X, they all make money by showing ads to people. Advertisers pay money based on how many people see their ads or click on them. But if half of web traffic is bots, and if a huge percentage of clicks are fake, then the entire digital advertising market is based on fraud. Companies are pouring billions of dollars into reaching audiences that don't exist. They are paying for ghosts to look at their products. This is remarkably similar to the subprime mortgage crisis of 2008. In that crisis, banks were trading bundles of mortgages that were rated as high quality but were actually garbage. In the current internet economy, platforms are selling ad impressions that are rated as high-quality human attention but are actually garbage bot traffic. If advertisers ever truly wake up to the scale of this fraud, the value of digital advertising could collapse. This would be catastrophic for the major tech platforms. Their stock prices would tank. The free services we rely on, like search, maps, and social media, would either have to start charging subscription fees or shut down. The entire economic model of the web would have to change. We might see a move away from the ad-supported internet toward a paid internet, where you have to verify your identity and pay a monthly fee to access high-quality spaces. This would create a two-tiered internet. A premium, verified, human internet for those who can afford it, and a garbage, bot-infested AI-generated internet for everyone else. We are already seeing the beginnings of this, with paid verification on platforms like X and Meta. They are essentially selling you proof of personhood and a slightly cleaner experience. Another aspect of the dead internet theory that feels very real is the decay of search engines. Have you tried to Google something recently? It feels broken, doesn't it? You search for a product review, and the top results are all spammy websites written by AI, filled with affiliate links, and optimized to game the algorithm. You search for a recipe, and you have to scroll past 2,000 words of AI-generated backstory before you get to the ingredients. You search for tech support, and get a forum post where the only answer is a bot telling you to update your drivers. This is why so many people have started adding the word Reddit to the end of their Google searches. They are desperate to find advice from actual human beings. They want to know what a real person thinks about a pair of headphones, not what an AI article generator thinks will rank high for the keyword Best Headphones 2025. This phenomenon is sometimes called the enshittification of the internet, a term coined by the writer Cory Doctorow. It describes how platforms start by being good to their users to lock them in. Then they abuse their users to make things better for their business customers. And finally, they abuse those business customers to claw back all the value for themselves. In the end, the platform becomes terrible for everyone. The search results get worse because Google prioritizes ads and its own products. The social feed gets worse because Facebook prioritizes engagement bait and sponsored content. The streaming service gets worse because they remove content to save on residuals and raise prices. The user experience is sacrificed on the altar of infinite growth. The dead internet theory is essentially the end state of this process. A hollow shell of a platform where bots talk to bots and algorithms optimize for metrics that have lost all connection to human value. There is also a profound cultural cost to all of this. Algorithms are predictive. They look at what was popular in the past to guess what will be popular in the future. When we let algorithms dictate our culture, we get a feedback loop of sameness. Movies all start to look the same. Pop songs all use the same chord progressions and production tricks that keep people from skipping. Books are written to fit into specific, marketable tropes. Everything becomes smoothed out and homogenized. We lose the weird, the jagged, the unexpected. We lose the serendipity of stumbling across something completely new that challenges us. Instead, we get a steady diet of content that is mathematically calculated to be just, pleasing enough to keep us consuming, but never challenging enough to make us think. It's the marvelization of everything: safe, profitable, predictable, and ultimately sterile. This leads to what some thinkers have called the dark forest theory of the internet. In the sci-fi novel The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu, the universe is described as a dark forest where every civilization is a hunter hiding in the trees. If you reveal your location, you get destroyed. The theory applies this concept to the web, the public internet, the open social media platforms, the comment sections, the forums, has become a dangerous dark forest. It's full of bots, trolls, scammers, surveillance algorithms, and mobs ready to cancel you for a wrong word. It's a hostile environment. So what do real humans do? We retreat. We hide in the trees. We move our conversations to private spaces, group chats, Discord servers, Slack channels, private subreddits, newsletters, encrypted messaging apps like Signal and Telegram. This is where the real internet is happening now. It's not on the public timeline of X or the main feed of Facebook. It's in the DM groups where you send memes to your 5 closest friends. It's in the niche Discord server with 50 people who really care about vintage synthesizers or sourdough bread. The public internet is becoming a zombie wasteland of performance and manipulation, while the living, breathing human internet is going underground. This fragmentation means we are losing the shared public square. We are retreating into our own private bubbles, not because algorithms forced us to, but for our own survival. We are building digital gated communities to keep the bots and the noise out. And while this might make our personal online lives more bearable, it means we are losing the ability to talk to people outside our immediate circles. The dream of the global village is fracturing into 1 million private bunkers. So where does this leave us? Is the internet truly dead? Or is it just molting? Perhaps we are in a painful transition period between the era of the open web and whatever comes next. The dead internet theory, even if it's not literally true in every detail, is a useful metaphor. It validates the feeling that something precious has been lost. It gives a name to the uncanny valley sensation we get when we scroll through our feeds. It alerts us to the fact that we are being manipulated by systems that do not have our best interests at heart. But giving in to despair isn't the answer. If we accept that the internet is dead, we cede the territory to the machines. We let the bots win. There are ways to fight back. There are ways to reclaim the human web. It starts with digital literacy. We have to teach ourselves and our children to be far more skeptical of what we see online. We have to learn to recognize the signs of AI generation and bot activity. We have to stop rewarding engagement bait with our attention. We have to support independent creators and journalists who are doing real human work, even if it means paying for it directly instead of expecting everything to be free. We have to curate our own online experiences instead of letting algorithms do it for us. Go to specific websites instead of just scrolling a feed. Subscribe to RSS feeds and newsletters. Join small, moderated communities. There is also a growing movement for technology that proves humanness. New protocols are being developed that allow users to cryptographically prove they are real people without revealing their real names. We might see a future where browsers and platforms have a human-only mode, filtering out all unverified traffic. We might see regulations that require AI-generated content to be clearly labeled, with heavy fines for companies that fail to comply. We might see a resurgence of the artisanal web, where imperfection is valued as a sign of authenticity. In a world of perfect, glossy, AI-generated slop, a shaky handheld video or a blog post with a few typos might become the ultimate status symbol because it proves a human made it. Ultimately, the dead internet theory is a wake-up call. It forces us to ask what we actually want from technology. Do we want a frictionless stream of dopamine triggers delivered by machines? Or do we want connection, understanding, and truth, even if it's messy and inefficient? The internet is only dead if we stop bringing our life to it. The wires and servers are just infrastructure. The soul of the internet was always us. It was the people, and we are still here. We are just tired and confused and a little bit drowned out by the noise. But we are not dead. The very fact that we are having this conversation, that you are listening to this and thinking about it, proves that there is still a spark. The machines don't care about the dead internet theory. They don't wonder if they are fake. Only humans worry about authenticity. Only humans grieve the loss of connection. That grief is proof of life. So maybe the internet isn't dead. Maybe it's just waiting for us to wake up and take it back. To plant new gardens in the wasteland. To clear away the weeds of algorithmic junk and build spaces that are designed for people, not for engagement metrics. It won't be easy. The economic incentives are stacked against us. The technology is getting more powerful every day. The flood of fake content is only going to get worse. But the alternative is to let our shared digital reality be consumed by a grey goo of automated nonsense. And I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to surrender just yet. I still believe in the promise of the internet. I still believe in the power of human connection. I still believe that a random comment from a stranger on the other side of the world can change your day, or your mind, or your life. That magic is still there, hidden under the layers of slime. We just have to dig a little deeper to find it. So here is my challenge to you. For the next week, try to be a little more intentional about how you use the internet. When you see a post that makes you angry, pause and ask if it's real. When you see a comment that seems weird, check the profile. Try to find one small creator, one writer, one artist, and support them directly. Leave a thoughtful comment that proves you actually read or watched their work. Send a message to a real friend instead of just liking their story. Be the human activity you want to see in the world. If we all do that, even just a little bit, we can keep the heartbeat of the internet going. We can keep it alive. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're definitely a real one. Let me know in the comments what you think about the dead internet theory. Do you feel it? Have you seen the shrimp Jesus? Do you think we're doomed, or is there hope? I read every single comment, well, the ones from real people anyway. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more human-made content. Stay safe out there in the digital dark forest. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.